want to welcome, thank you all for being a part of my life for the next about 30 minutes. My name is Cannonball Charlie, and I am a cannoneer for the York Revolution baseball team that's located here in York, Pennsylvania. And before we really get started, because all of you cannot be with me here at People's Bank Park, let's just take a quick look at the field, and I'll point out some special features of this ballpark. So head on over this way. As you can see, the field crew is out there getting ready for this evening's game. This is also July 4th weekend, so I want to wish everybody happy 4th of July, and please be safe out there and have fun with the fireworks shows, etc. But the grounds crew is getting ready for this evening's game. And if you take a look over to the right-hand side, you'll notice that there's a big wall that is out there. It has some of our sponsor names that are there as well. And a fun fact that all of you can remember when you get together for your July 4th weekend events, that right now you are looking at the tallest wall in all of professional baseball.
Wow.
It is even taller than the Green Monster in Fenway Park, which some of you may be familiar with.
Quick question. Does anybody know where Fenway Park is? What city? Because I know someone's going to say Earth, which is technically correct.
That is technically correct.
Anyone know? They're also, not Philly, but they're also known big for independence. And Willow got it right. Boston.
Hey, good job, Willow. Awesome.
Jackson also got it right.
And Joey said Boston too. Anybody ever been to Boston? Jeremiah says no.
Nope, not looking like we have too many folks who visited.
That's all right. Well, it's something that everybody can put on your bucket list. Get up to Boston.
We'll talk to the PA virtual marketing team and see if they'll send me out to Boston at some point.
Good idea. But you can see everybody's getting ready for the games this evening. And People's Bank Park is home of the York Revolution, as I mentioned before. And we are 3 times the Atlantic League champions. And if you take a look on the right above the time and temperature sign, you'll notice that there are 3 pennants from 2010, 2011, and 2017. So those are the 3 seasons that the York Revolution have been fortunate enough to win the championship. And I'm hoping at the end of this season, we get to add another pennant onto that list. So without further ado, the first question, and you guys can kind of fire when ready if you want to. As far as questions, you can stop me during the presentations. If you do have any questions, please do so as we go on. But the first question was, why am I dressed like a pirate? First of all, pirates and the Revolutionary War, a little bit of similarities and a little bit of similarities in their dress as well. But what you're looking at here is the normal attire for a Revolutionary War soldier. And I'll walk you through each piece of the attire. And if you do have any questions, please let me know. And let's start with the hat. All right. So this is the hat that a normal Revolutionary soldier would wear. And you can tell especially if I hold it this way, we got 1, 2, and 3 corners to this hat. Now, does anybody want to guess what the name of this hat is? It's in relation of 3 corners.
So what might have 3 corners that could also be the name of a hat?
What geometric shape?
Banyan, go ahead and type it into the chat.
Is it square? No.
We got a lot of triangles.
Rhombus?
Triangles.
No.
Willow, she said it's a tricorn. She is good.
Triangle, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, the triangle has 3 corners, and Willow's on a hot streak today.
She is. Xavier got it, and Jeremiah got it too.
Cool. So Tricorn Hat is the name of this hat, just as Willow typed in, and it's named after the 3 corners. And you'll also notice that the front corner, and this is how it gets worn. Okay, the front corner is up here, is when the sun is rising or the sun is setting, then the Revolutionary soldiers would actually use this to protect their eyes from the sunlight, because they didn't have too good of sunglasses like we have today. So they tried anything they could to block that sun. So that's why one corner of the hat is pointed straight. All right. And it would look kind of funny if we would turn it this way, wouldn't it? Does anybody say this is a better way to wear the hat? Or should I wear it the normal way? What do we guys think? We'll do type in 1 for the normal way and 2 for the backwards way.
And Jeremiah said it actually looks better backwards. You know, it's kind of the cool way. Everybody turns their ball caps backwards. So
there we go. Very cool. So I'm going to put this hat off to the side.
So the answer was 3. Don't wear it at all.
The answer is 3. That was a trick question. Yes, the answer is 3. Don't wear it at all, right? Okay, next you have a big long jacket, and this is wool, and that's what they wore back in the Revolutionary time period. The hat is wool as well. So on those very, very hot summer days, those guys were sweating tremendously.
So, quick question.
Yes.
What animal does wool come from? I know you know, Cannonball.
Yes.
But
I'm not going to give the answer away.
So, and no, we did not fire the cannon yet. You're here just in time. And Farrah and Joey said sheep. Absolutely.
And you know, that's kind of bad joke, isn't it? With the sheep. Is that good? No. Why don't sheep shrink when it rains? I've been trying to figure that out for many, many, many years. Why don't sheep shrink when it rains? If you know, by the end of summer, please let the York Revolution know so that they can let Cannonball Charlie know. All right? So you have a long jacket here, and you can see that there are buttons, and you'll find that soldiers will either button it up or they'll wear it loose depending on what the temperature is. So this is exactly what they would wear. They have pockets on either side, and in the pockets they would have everything from gunpowder to whatever they're carrying with them, and that's what they would put in their pockets. So you got 2 pockets, 1 on either side, and the coats do come in different colors as well. So this is Cannonball Charlie is just a normal Revolutionary soldier. He doesn't have any ranking or anything like that, and there are ranks throughout the armed forces, but this is just a regular color for a jacket for Revolutionary time period. And underneath your jacket, you have, I can take the jacket off, you have a waist jacket, and they even have taken these off, throughout the warm period, so they would take the jackets off, but you'll notice it doesn't have any sleeves. So it's just a normal vest, like if you want to call it that term. And there are 2 pockets that are down here to carry additional items in there as well. Okay.
Charlie, was your coat called a frock coat? Is that the terminology for your coat?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. One of our campers actually knew that was called a frock coat.
Oh, cool.
That's
Excellent.
That's pretty exciting.
Nice. And these, because you'll also find with the different color of the jackets, you have different ranks as well. And the higher the rank you have, the more, like especially in the wintertime, a little bit more of the warmth would be there, a little bit more padding as well. You'll even have some different, insignias that are on there so that the soldiers would know who their commanding officer was, etc. So if it gets rather warm, they can take the jacket off, and then you can have just a vest here. And then underneath the vest, you have a long sleeve shirt as well with a little bit of wrinkle or fluffles or whatever you want to call that up here, right? And the reason you will wear long sleeves, as most of you are here today not to listen to me ramble on for the next 20 minutes about Revolutionary War. All of you want to see the cannon fired, right? and we'll take a quick look over there at the cannon. We'll walk you through the cannon piece shortly. But when the cannon does get fired, you will also have some dust that'll come back towards you. You even may have a little bit of gunpowder that will land on either your jacket, or even if you have these shirts rolled up, you can even get some of the gunpowder landing on your skin, and you don't want that to happen because gunpowder is going to be very, very hot, especially coming out of the cannon.
Have you ever seen someone cook bacon and the oil kind of spits out of the pan? Kind of the same thing. You don't want that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Has that happened to Cannonball Charlie in the past where he's got a little bit burnt with the gunpowder during games? Yes, but I'm still here. I survived. But safety is very, very important. We'll go over safety as well with all of this because it is a firearm. Okay, so there's training that has to go along with that as well. So after the vest and the long sleeve shirt, you also have short knickers, if you want to call them. Some of you may be familiar with some golfers back in the day where they would wear knickers. Okay, these are short pants. They actually come up to right about here, and the reason they are up so high is as the soldiers are walking, as they're running, they don't want to be tripping over longer pants. They want to get from point A to point B as quickly as you can. So you would be walking over rocks and streams and all sorts of things, and you want to try to keep this clothing and your attire as dry as you can, because for some of these guys, this was the only outfit that they've had for many, 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 many years. So you try to keep it as dry as you can, and that's why you have your pants that are hiked up a little bit, almost like shorts that you have. And then to protect the lower part of the leg, you have the longer stockings there as well. And that's once again just to keep you from not getting cut on the leg with rocks, or even like I've heard stories where Revolutionary soldiers, instead of putting cannonballs in the cannon, they would put spoons, they would put forks, they would put whatever they could find in the cannon to try to harm the persons that they were trying to win the war against. So when you have all that stuff flying, you want to try to protect your skin as much as you can, because infection was another big hurdle that they had to avoid during the Revolutionary War as well. And last but not least, you have the shoes. And if you get a close up on the shoes, you will notice that they're not like your sneakers that you have today. And they are actually called square-toed shoes. It's not rounded. They're called square-toed shoes. And there is no left or right pair of shoes, meaning you can change these shoes from your left side to your right side of your feet. And once again, a lot of the soldiers had the same attire, same outfit for long periods of time. These shoes would have to last for very, very, very long periods of time as well. So soldiers would even take them off if they would have to go through a stream or go through a water area, just to try to keep them as dry and as clean as possible, because they are leather. So if you do get them wet with rain or snow or any type of precipitation, the sole of the shoe will actually peel apart. So you want to try to keep them as clean and as water-free as possible.
First and foremost, you guys keep on talking about Fortnite. I'm going to find all of you in your Fortnite games and fire a cannon from Cannonball Charlie at you. But also, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to know, how old are those shoes?
How old are these shoes? They are probably 2 years old.
How old would a typical soldier shoe would be, though?
Soldier shoe, if there are still some around, you're talking in the 1700s. So
that's you talk about over 300 years.
Yeah, and that's a lot of them deteriorated over time. There are some museums that do have some shoes and some other attire from that period of time. that if you get a chance to check that out this summer, I would highly recommend it. But even one thing that does last for long periods of time, that when people do excavating of sites, revolutionary sites, or any war sites for that matter, is these buttons. These buttons will last for very, very, very long periods of time, and sometimes it's the only remnants that are left in certain areas where the excavating takes place.
Someone wanted to know, is the way that you have your hair kind of part of the costume too? Did soldiers normally grow their hair really long?
Yes. Yep. Soldiers would grow their hair long. They didn't have time to go to the barber shop and get trimmed up with their beard and their hair. They just sort of left go longer, and if they were lucky enough to survive the war and get back to their family, then go over and clean up a little bit. But yeah, you'll find a lot of soldiers who have long hair and beards, and there will be periods of time where they would not be able to even take a shower. All of us were so lucky that we get to take a shower once, twice a day, etc. That as we need, especially after a swimming pool. I'm sure many of you will be jumping in the swimming pool this weekend, which is the July 4th celebration. After jumping in the swimming pool, we'll get in to that shower and clean off. Some of these guys would go weeks without taking a shower, and their showers would be jumping into a stream.
Someone else was mentioning about how, obviously Revolutionary War, we were fighting the British, but the British actually had some allies with German assassins. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that.
So you taught us something.
So you taught, yes. Thank you. Hey, we are all here to help each other, learn from each other, and make society and make our lives. We're enriching each other. We're very important to each other. You guys, even though I don't see you in person, you're very important to me, and you're very important to a lot of other persons as well. So anytime we can learn from one another, hey, that's what we're here for, to learn and help each other.
We also
right,
had a
any other-
question about how
Yeah.
old the cannon is. So how old is that cannon that you have, Charlie?
The cannon, that's actually a replica cannon. So it's probably, if I would have to take a guess, maybe about 40 years old with that. But the size of the cannon is based off of the size that you would find on the deck of a ship as a signaling cannon. So back in the Revolutionary War period of time, if you would have battles out in the ocean, and if there are ships that are coming towards one another, and you can't really yell that long distance, across the ocean, so they would have to actually fire these cannons to let the other ship know that, hey, we're coming through. If they were not a friendly ship, so to speak, then that initial firing might be the start of a little bit of a conflict between those two ships.
Cannons were the original text emojis.
Yes, sir, you are absolutely correct. But yeah, that's a replica cannon, and based on the size that you find on the deck of a ship. Now, the actual construction and the way it is put together is based on revolutionary style of cannon. So you would have, probably 10 times this size, what you would find on the battlefields, and it would make a heck of a lot of noise, more than what we're going to make in a few minutes.
All right. Any other questions before we continue? So, but although it is not part of this Revolutionary War presentation, get a lot of questions about the birthday zone. What's up with that?
Hey, birthday zone. One thing we do have here at the ballpark is a birthday zone. So if children would like to celebrate their birthday here, then they get a chance to come out here in this picnic area, and they get to throw out a first pitch as well. Morgan, did you want to stop in and say something about the birthday zone? Yeah, we're going to bring my friend Morgan over here. Morgan is one of the front office staff members here at the York Revolution, and one of your responsibilities is, in fact, the birthday zone. So just as a lot of you have educated me about different aspects that we talked about today, I'm going to turn to the expert. And Morgan is the expert when it comes to the birthday zone. So everybody, please give Morgan your attention for the next couple minutes.
Of course. So we typically have a lot of families, friends gather around. They come in here. We have pizza, hot dogs, unlimited. You get to eat as much pizza as your stomach can. That sounds like a great time, right? I also put together goodie bags for all the kiddos that come out to celebrate their friends or siblings' birthdays. You're also right next to the cannon. So that's a very, it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, we just have a great time in here. And I mean, the view you get from here, you get access to the playground, have bouncy houses, a huge blow-up slide you can go down. So yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Oh, and you're forgetting the best part too.
What's the best?
The birthday shot actually gets a jersey, a York
Jersey.
Revolution jersey.
With whatever name you want on the back, and number. You can throw out a first pitch. You can even stand on the dugout tops and have Diamond Doug sing happy birthday to you. How cool is that, right?
You just have to make sure you show up dressed just like Cannonball Charlie.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And as Morgan mentioned, you're right beside the cannon. And I think we should ask Morgan, have you ever been frightened by the cannon?
Have I? Still get frightened to this day. Sometimes I'm standing right here, hanging out with the birthday squad, and I'm not paying attention to Cannonball Charlie, and all of a sudden, boom! You might hear me scream a few times.
By the way, I'm seeing a few people talk about that they live kind of close to the stadium. If you guys, for all our friends that are close to the stadium, I got a little something for you guys at the end.
Fireworks early.
Oh, that was fireworks test. Okay.
That's not Cannonball Charlie.
But all right, let's continue. Let's start headed
Yeah.
towards.
It was great talking to you guys.
Thank you so much. Anybody who comes in and talks about unlimited pizza is welcome.
Hey, but yes, we do. I'll just take a couple seconds here. If you go to YorkRevolution.com, you can go and there is a section on there about the birthday zone that shows you what you have, what you get. A couple little tidbits before we get to the main attraction is York, Pennsylvania was actually the first capital of the United States for, it was a short period of time, but I want to say it was back in 1777 or 74, somewhere in that time frame, that York, Pennsylvania was the first capital of the United States, and it did play an important role during the Revolutionary time period itself. And for the first several years of the York Revolution's existence, we tied in the American Revolution with our colors. Our logo was an eagle. So we really tied in that aspect of the importance of York, Pennsylvania played during the Revolutionary period of time as well. So without further ado, how are we doing on time?
We're good.
We're doing good on time. You guys want to get ready for a cannon firing, don't you?
Everybody ready for a little bit of boom boom?
A little bit of boom to help start your July 4th weekend. Guys ready?
Yeah, we got to
Okay.
get a lot of yeses and a lot of S's on the end of the
On the
yeses.
yeses on the end of the yeses. So what we're going to do is we will take the cannon to the lawn area, which is another feature of the ballpark that a lot of people think that you got to buy tickets to sit in seats. But we actually do have a lawn area here at People's Bank Park, and your families can come up or come out, and you can bring like a blanket or a sleeping bag if you want to, and you can hang out here and actually watch the game from the lawn area. And that's where we're going to go over to get the cannon set up and do the cannon firing as well. So we're going to wheel the cannon over.
By the way, people were asking for the website, which is YorkRevolution.com. Zoe put it actually in chat. Thank you, Zoe. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Zoe.
Regan wants to know, could this cannon break a tower?
Power.
Like if you were just firing at a castle?
I would have to put a cannonball in the cannon to actually, because what we do here at the Rev is we just put a bunch of gunpowder in it. But if you would actually put a small cannonball in there, it would do a little bit of damage to the tower, but it would not knock it down.
So no forks, knives, or spoons are going to go in when we fire this. No pizza.
No, we gotta keep the piece.
And the gunpowder. Now the good thing is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, because we put the gunpowder and stuff in there, there's not going to be any damage to anything around. Nothing's going to fire out and hit something. Correct?
Correct. Yep. Nothing. There will be no projectile that will be shot out of the cannon. So all it is just a bunch of gunpowder. Nobody will be harmed in the filming of this video.
So far.
So far.
Someone wanted to know how heavy the cannon is.
I've never weighed the cannon before. I've lifted it on many occasions. And if I would have to take a guess to the weight of the entire cannon, you're probably looking like 175, maybe 200 pounds with everything as is.
Oh, wow.
Now, when I lift it up on the table myself and get things ready for the game, I'll actually take the barrel off. I'll lift the base, and then the barrel will go right on top of that and get held in place with some pins. So the barrel is actually, I would guess, a good 100 pounds of the entire weight, and then the rest of it. Cannonball Charlie does not have to go to any gyms, especially when there are games, because all I have to do is just lift the barrel of the cannon 10 times and I got my workout. That sounds like a good. How about the Cannonball Charlie fitness plan? Lifting cannons, maybe we could do that. So let's get this over to on it.
Now, Charlie, they wanted to know, why do you call yourself Cannonball Charlie if you're firing a cannon without a cannonball? Why aren't you Gunpowder Charlie?
It's easier to remember Cannonball Charlie rather than Gunpowder Charlie. So it's kind of the C and the C. It helps people remember that. And if we were in a Revolutionary War, there would be cannonballs in there. So, but that's a good question. We could maybe look on renaming Cannonball Charlie.
I will say, we have to talk about Cannonball Charlie. If he drops a rap album, it will be Gunpowder Charlie. We have to change the name.
There we go. Good point.
Now, the interesting thing, you have to inform the township that you're going to be firing this cannon, right?
Yeah. Yep. From the township and from the city of York as well, just so that they don't know that anything bad is happening, etc. So we have to notify the proper authorities, and then that way they know it's going to happen.
By the way, just real quick, I just wanted to show some artwork that's here. That's pretty cool, ain't it? It's pretty awesome. But all right.
All right. And this is my bag of tricks. This has everything that I need for a game, for cannon firing as well. And the first thing, and I'm going to walk everybody through, and you may hear a train in the background. We do actually have train tracks on either side of the stadium. And some games we get quite a few number of trains going up and down. Sometimes the conductor of the train will honk the horn and wave over to the fans if there's games going on. So if you hear that in the background, Cannonball Charlie's not going to hop on the train and go anywhere because you guys want to start your July 4th with a bang, right? So the first thing I do to get ready for a cannon firing is I'm going to clean the inside of the barrel, make sure it's clean, make sure there's nothing obstructing the barrel of the cannon, etc. And just take a metal rod, and the towel is tied through the metal rod, and we'll head on over to the barrel. And as you can see, there is some from the last game. This is remnants of past firings of the cannon as well. So that's why it's very important before each game to get everything cleaned out, because if this would continue to build up in the cannon, then the cannon would not operate properly. So we got to make sure most of that is out of there. And another thing that towel does is it will absorb all the moisture that is in the barrel of the cannon. If you get gunpowder wet, it's not going to fire. So we got to keep the gunpowder as dry as we can so that the cannon will be able to operate. So once all of this is cleaned out, then we're going to get the gunpowder. And we can get a close-up of what gunpowder actually looks like. And it kind of looks like pepper. So just little pieces of the gunpowder here. And what I do is, as I'm making the gunpowder packets, we put 2 packets in per cannon firing. And what those packets end up looking like is
Revolutionary Tupperware.
yes, it is revolutionary Tupperware. You are exactly correct.
So they look like kind of tea bags, the
Yes,
giant
sir.
tea bags.
Yep. And all this is tissues that do not have any lotion or perfume or anything on there, because the lotion and the perfume would actually harm the barrel of the cannon and would actually the black remnants of the gunpowder. Using tissues that have lotion or perfume on them would actually gum up the barrel and make it not be able to fire. So these are just 1-ply tissues that don't have any additional chemicals in there, anything like that. And it does kind of look like a tea bag. And I put 2 of these in for a shot. And after I put in the 2 bags of gunpowder, I will put a little bit of newspaper in at the end, because this adds a little bit more smoke. It also cuts down on the length of the flame that gets shot out at the end of the barrel, because we don't want a real long flame, going out, especially if it would catch the field on fire. The grounds crew would not be very happy with Cannonball Charlie. So this kind of cuts down on that flame, plus it adds a little bit more smoke, and everybody likes to see smoke.
Now, why would you fire a cannon during a game?
Good question. We fire the cannon 3 times, hopefully 3 times, during a York Revolution baseball game. The first one, which always gets Morgan when she's out at the birthday zone, we have an introduction of Cannonball Charlie. And at the end of that introduction, the PA announcer will say, "Cannonball Charlie, you may fire when ready." So that's 1. Then, if a York Revolution player hits a home run, we use that as a celebration. And then at the end of the night, if the Revs end up winning, Cannonball Charlie fires 1 more shot to cap off.
So I want you guys to take a guess. What do you think the record is for how many times Cannonball Charlie has had to fire a cannon during one game?
It's more than 1.
So Hector says 10.
That's close.
Lindsay and Josh says 15. Jack said 5. Willow said 6. Ella says 14. Sabrina and Ramik say 9. Joey said 7. Coben said 90,000.
90,000. I would, if it was 90,000, Cannonball Charlie would run out of gunpowder probably by the 5th inning. That's a lot of fire. 90,000.
All right, so what's the answer? Because I actually don't remember.
The answer is 9 times.
All right. So I know a couple people said 9, so
Yes.
great, good job.
Yep, 9 is the record, and I'm hoping this season to break that record. But that was a fun game. Now with baseball, there's some games where there's no home runs, And those games seem to go on a little bit longer than there would be when there would be games with home runs. But it's still nonetheless to see the fans interact with them. So even if there isn't a home run, at least I got a chance to see the York fans and talk to them as well. So let's go ahead and load up the cannon. All right.
All right, load up the cannon.
Here is the first one.
Oh no, a bug.
Then we use Cannonball Charlie uses a ramrod, which is exactly what they would use back in the Revolutionary period of time. It would be a lot larger than this, but because we're dealing with a smaller cannon, small ramrod here, and then you push the packet of gunpowder all the way back. Then gunpowder pack number 2. Push that back. Now you want to be gentle with those gunpowder packets because it's only one ply of tissues. It's going to rip easily. So you have to be very gentle with that. Then a little bit of newspaper in there at the end.
Now, is there anything with the newspaper? Does that have to be good news or is it bad news or?
I really don't look at the newspaper when I cut it up. It's probably a mixture of good news, bad news. Well, you know what? That gave me an idea. If there's an article about how the Revs lost that night, I should just load it the next day.
There you go.
Just be done with it, right? So the cannon is actually loaded. Now the next step would be to use primer caps. And this is a primer cap, and I'm glad I have 2 on here because this is a primer cap. And this is the most important part of this whole flyer. And I'll show you how it actually works when I put it in there. But just to give all of you an idea, this is what the primer cap looks like when Cannonball Charlie puts it in the primer cap location. After a firing, that's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
So what that primer cap does is actually give a spark for the gunpowder to be set off. And all it needs is just one spark, and that gunpowder is going to light up and go. Okay, so this is after, and this is before. So let's head on over to the cannon. And we put that primer cap in the back of the cannon itself. So right now, this cannon is live. It is ready to go. All right. When I pull that lanyard, that black string that all of you saw, that creates a spark inside the touch hole of the cannon. That spark then goes down the touch hole. Then that primer cap is actually sitting right on top of those 2 bags of gunpowder. So that when I pull that lanyard, that creates that spark. That spark goes down through the touch hole, off goes the cannon. Now you'll notice I don't have hearing protection. One big thing when it comes to the firing of the cannon, we need hearing protection. All right.
So that should answer your question. It is loud.
It is very, very loud.
Now, Mr. Sheik can't hear anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So what Cannonball Charlie will do is get his hearing protection in. And every year, speaking of safety, every year, Cannonball Charlie goes through a basic firearm safety course. As I mentioned earlier, this is a firearm. We do not shoot anything out of it, so we do not harm anybody, but it is still a firearm, and there's a safety course that needs to be taken in order to ensure the safety of everybody in the stadium and also Cannonball Charlie himself. So I've been here since 2007, and I still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I still got all of my fingers and my thumbs, so I'm still good there. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of people, and even those relationships you get to carry over. You see them outside running their errands. I've been recognized in grocery stores. I've been recognized, the farthest is South Carolina. I was actually down at a hockey game in South Carolina, and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, by chance, are you Cannonball Charlie?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And it actually turns out that the person that recognized me was an intern here at the Revs many, many, many years ago, and was actually working for the South Carolina Stingrays hockey team, which is kind of cool.
So a
So-
few kids said thank you, and they wanted to tell you now, just in case something happens if you fire the cannon.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thank you for the privilege of coming into to your technological device, whether you're watching on computer, your cell phone. Everybody is enjoying this. And is there any other questions before we fire up the July 4th weekend?
Any other questions, Guy, before or ladies as well? No. A lot of people sending scared emojis. Jeremiah said, have you ever thought about firing your hat out of the cannon?
No, I would have to cut up my hat to fit it in. But no, never thought about that.
I think everyone's ready to go.
Everybody's ready to go? Earplugs, you're good?
All
So we have a
right.
Countdown 3.
So we should count down from 3. You guys can count down with us, all right?
Ready? 3, 2, 1. And that is the York Revolution home run cannon. I hope all of you had a wonderful time. You learned a little bit of something today. I learned a little bit from you as well. And I appreciate your time. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your summer. From Peoples Bank Park here in York, Pennsylvania, Cannonball Charlie salutes you.
So before we go, anybody have any other questions for Cannonball Charlie? No? A lot of people saying it's cool. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Sheik, we do have a question from Willow about if you were to use a cannonball in your cannon, how heavy would it be? How big would it be?
That's a good question. The diameter of the barrel is a little bit less than 1.75 inches. So if everybody sort of thinks about the size of a golf ball, that would be about the maximum size of the cannonball that you could fit in the barrel of the cannon. And if it would actually be fired with the same amount of gunpowder I just used, you're probably talking maybe a half a mile in distance. So it's a pretty good travel distance.
Wow. Any other questions? So one final thing, guys, before I turn it over to Miss Andy. Little surprise for you. If you are in this area, the York Revolution have a game tonight. And if your parents email me, I can get you tickets. I actually have some tickets for tonight's game. So if you guys are in the area and you're able to come to tonight's game, let me know. Have your parents email me, and I will send you some tickets for tonight's game. And of course, we have a bunch of other events that go on with PA Virtual where we are and doing things too. But I wanted to let you know, if you guys wanted to come out, that Mr. Sheik will hook you up.
And game time is 6:30. Gates open at 5:30. So the weather looks like it's going to be overcast and a good time. And I believe we have Lancaster tonight.
Yep, I think it's Lancaster.
Lancaster Barnstormers are coming over. So, like the gentleman said, that is, we can call him the producer, we can call him the cameraman, we could call him just an outstanding individual. He can hook us up with tickets.
Yeah.
We'll see you out.
So just have your family email me. As everybody has said, I am Mr. Sheik. So if they email me, I will send you tickets. It's electronic, and that way you guys can come out, and I'll still be out here. So I'll get a chance to say hello to you.
And Sheik, the way that they can email you is to respond to the email we're going to send them later today, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for being here today. I think that was really awesome and fun. On behalf of our campers in PA Virtual, we want to say thank you to Cannonball Charlie, who was really awesome today. Zoe, he said the game starts at 6:30. And as a reminder, a recording of this session will be available on our YouTube page within the next week. You will also get an email from us letting you know how you can sign up for other camp sessions or get tickets. So look for that email today if you want to reach out to Mr. Sheik and get those tickets. And let's see, it'll show you how you can sign up for other camp sessions, and and also how to get information about our school. If you're not a PA Virtual family already, there will be information in that email. And if any parents are around and want me to stick around and ask me just some questions about the school, I am glad to do that. All right, guys, I hope that you had a ton of fun. I hope you have a great 4th of July weekend and see lots of fireworks. And we will see you guys hopefully next week at some of our coming summer camps. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for coming. Bye.